Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this simple little 1/12 scale work table. Really quick and easy to make. And this is part of the craft shed interior. So I'll just bring the shed in and I'll show you how that looks inside. And this will fit in this corner over here. And on top of here we'll have the 1/144 scale doll's house. So once again I've put the cutting list down in the description below. That way you can copy and paste and print that off more easily. Coming up next is a list of all the tools you'll need, and then we'll get started. For this project you'll need a suitable craft wood such as a beche or basswood. Both of these are available in my Etsy shop. You'll need a craft knife. I use this Swan Morton knife which takes a size 10A blade. That comfortably cuts wood up to the thickness of 3mm. A steel rule, obviously for measuring and for cutting your wood along with your craft knife. A nice sharp pencil for accurate marking. An eraser. A suitable glue such as this Gorilla Wood glue. Cocktail sticks for applying the glue and for removing excess glue from along the joins. Some mini clamps for when we come to hold the top on the table. Masking tape and scissors, again for holding drying parts together. A couple of grades of sandpaper. I've got a fine grade and a medium grade here. And then your choice of paint, wood dye or varnish. And I'm going to be using this wood dye again. And you can find a video about using wood dye here on my YouTube channel. Okay, let's get started. Begin with your leg pieces, and that's the 4 longer strip pieces. Turn them to one side, and we're going to make a pencil mark 7mm, 9/32 of an inch from the bottom of each leg. And make each mark using the ruler rather than the leg that you've just marked. I'll give you a more accurate mark. Like that. Turn those around, divide them into 2 sets of 2, and then we're going to glue a short support between the top of each pair of legs. So I've got some glue here which I've dispensed onto a piece of card, and I'm using a cocktail stick to apply it. So just a little dab on the end of each short support. A bit more on that one. Like that. Same with that one. And then glue the support to the top of the first leg. Make sure that you've got a straight top line there. And then bring the other one in like so. And so that your pencil marks are facing you. And then just very, very carefully move that along your work surface. And that can be left to dry. And the same with the second set of legs. Just apply a little bit more glue. Like that. Nice flush line again along the top there. And again that can just be very carefully moved along your worktop to dry. I'll just press that leg into place again. Came a little bit loose there. Like that. And then bring in your top piece, and this is the smaller of the 3 pieces you've got left. I'm just going to tidy up these edges. So just move the piece along the sandpaper in one direction. Don't sort of rock it back and forth or it will round off the corners. Like that. Just remove the the dust. And then bring in the long supports, and we're going to glue one to each edge. So apply glue along each long edge, and place that piece on your work surface and press a long support to each side. Press that all together. Push it on your worktop like that if it begins to stick, and then remove the excess glue. And again, that piece can be left to dry. And now bring in your shelf piece, which again is the smaller of the two pieces you've got left. And again, I'm just going to tidy that up. We're now going to make or cut a 3mm 1/8 of an inch square from each corner. So mark up the long edge first, so 3mm from each end, and the same on the other side. And then turn the piece around and do the remaining pencil mark, so you're making a little square in each corner, like that. And the same at the other edge of the wood. And bring in your craft knife, and we're going to cut against the grain first, and by doing that you'll prevent the wood from splitting. So just the tip of the knife blade, like that, and then you can turn and remove the square. Do that at each corner. So once you've allowed enough time for the leg pieces to dry, bring one in and turn it on the end like that, so your pencil marks are facing towards you. And then we're going to glue this supported top to the inside edge of the legs. So apply glue along the edge of the supported top piece. And press those two pieces together. So you've got nice flush sides along each edge, and it helps here as well if you bring in your piece of 5mm strip wood, just a spare piece of strip, and you can just press those together, and that just gets a better join. Press quite firmly, and you can remove your excess glue. Again, good to get the glue at this stage whilst it's still tacky, and it's easier to remove. On there as well. And then just very carefully turn that piece onto its side. Bring in your shelf piece and just apply a little bit of glue into each of those cut out corners. And then we're going to attach this so that it sits just above those pencil marks down there. So put it into place like that, and then just squeeze those sort of bottom of the legs together like that. Try and keep it up as upright as possible, but we will square it all off when we attach the remaining legs. That piece can now be left to dry for a moment. Okay, so once you've allowed that to dry off for a little bit, apply glue along the top of the table edge. And then those little cutouts again. then bring in your remaining set of legs, and so again that the pencil marks are facing you so we can see to line our shelf up. Get that top piece into position first, so you've got a nice flush edge again along the top, and that the sides are flush as well. And then you can turn it and just make sure that the shelf is sitting above the pencil lines. Once you're happy that's all flush and where it should be, then just very gently press it all together, which will square it all off, and then you can just hold it again while the glue begins to take. Bring that shelf down on that side a little bit, and then I'm just going to add a couple of pieces of masking tape. I want to put one across the top like that. Pull quite firmly but not too hard so that the table collapses. And I'm going to put one across that bottom edge as well. Again, press it all together firmly, and that can then be left to dry. Once you've allowed enough time for the glue to dry, remove the masking tape, and then you can gently sand away the pencil marks on the outer legs. That can then just be put to one side for a moment. And we're now going to round off each edge of the tabletop just on this top side of the piece. So hold your sandpaper at a 45-degree angle and just sweep it along until you begin to round the edge. And that's just to give it a neater look than just that sort of square edge. Once you've been around all edges of the piece, it can now be attached to the table. So apply glue directly to the tabletop. And then use a cocktail stick or a spreader to spread that around, making sure you get it all along the edges, into the corners. And just get rid of some of that excess onto my piece of card. Like that. And then attach the tabletop, leaving an even border around all edges, and it will only be a tiny little overhang. Just press that into place. Remove the excess glue, and then you can use masking tape or clamps to hold all that together. One at the front and back. A little bit more glue coming out there. That can then be left to dry. And there is the completed table. So I'm just going to bring the craft shed back in, and we'll pop that back into place. It goes there. Another couple of pieces of furniture to go, and then we can start putting all the lovely miniatures in. I might do a couple of miniature projects in between the next pieces of furniture, just because I really can't wait to get started on them. And then we can make the shelf a little wall shelf that's going over here, and we'll have a little unit here, possibly a little filing cabinet. So I hope you've enjoyed this latest tutorial. I hope you're enjoying the series. If you're following along with me, do let me know. And if you've made anything so far, you can share photographs of your creations in my Facebook group, Little Bits and Pieces by You. Just pop over to my Facebook page and you'll find a link to the group there. If you do enjoy making your own doll's house furniture and miniatures, you might like to have a look at my books. I've got 4 of them now. The latest one was just released this week. They're all available to purchase from Amazon, and I'll pop a couple of links below. And for now, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.